stars, welcome to this week's episode of the Popcorn Wineout. Thank you for joining us. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
This week's episode is brought to you by the people who truly make movies and television come to life, the true visionaries behind the craft, the writers, the actors, and the directors, even though they fumbled the bag big time, and the people behind the scenes that we don't see daily, the crew. Having said that, we are in full support of the WGA and SAG actor strikes in their quest for a fair deal and to protect their art and secure their livelihoods. And I want to send a special shout out to Ron Perlman. If you know, you know, motherfuckers.
How you gonna say we support? How you know I support?
Are you saying you don't support?
I'm just saying. Okay, we have to have a conversation about this, but no, I do support.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I fully understand why they're striking. Like people always say, like, oh, but look at all the money they're making. That's the big actors. We talking about the everyday actors who ain't making those millions of dollars. When they're doing, and then losing money because of how streaming has completely taken over the industry. But yes, so
Yeah.
I am in support.
Yeah, not every actor is a Leonardo DiCaprio or has a franchise film or, and then even that, that money has to go to agents and all of this other stuff. So it's a big, big deal. And, you know, I am in full support. So anyway, do you have an opinion on AI? That is one of the things that they wanted to be protected from, that they're fighting for protection from.
I don't because I don't know anything about it, and I just can't go down that rabbit hole. Um, I'm in support of them. I kind of understand it, but not to have a conversation about how AI officially like affects the industry. So no, I don't have an opinion.
Okay. Well, hopefully, it's kind of fitting because of what the movie we are discussing today. So, this week we join Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, and his IMF team, Luther, played by Ving Rhames, and Benji, played by Simon Pegg, as they accept their most impossible mission yet. They must hunt down and stop the entity, the weapon of all weapons, which is so powerful that it can stealthily infiltrate and control any system that it wants. The mission is seemingly made more impossible when Ethan encounters a ghost from his past, Gabriel, played by Esai Morales, another one who's on that Clooney fine aging plan. Um, and a relentlessly stubborn thief, Grace, Hayley Atwell, with trust issues, who refuses to admit she's in over her head. Tammy, what did you think of the latest Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning? Was it a mission worth taking, or should it be set to immediate self-destruct mode?
I say give it some time before you self destruct it. Um, while it was a good Mission Impossible movie, I think that the Mission Impossible franchise is starting to make me feel the same way I feel about the Fast and Furious franchise. On, of course, every time you put out another movie for this franchise, I am going to go and see it because I'm just a fan. Like I'm definitely gonna go see it. But am I going to be as excited to see it? No, I'm not. And that's kind of the feeling I got once the movie was done. And not to say it was done poorly or bad, but it just wasn't edge of your seat like action to me. Like I felt like they were going through the motions in a way. On you got to do the stunts because that's what everybody knows about this. Like they know about the stunts, and so it just did not get to me the same way. So I have more of a chill response, the same way that I do about the Transformers franchise as well as the Fast and Furious franchise. I'm gonna go see it, but it's only by habit, not necessarily.
See, I enjoyed it. Like you, as a fan of the series,
Yes,
I was going to see it anyway, just because I'm a fan. But I enjoyed it so much more than I thought I would, and I don't know if maybe it had to do with the subject matter, the entity being this all conforming, this all assuming AI. that just becomes like a sentient, fully autonomous being that just kind of takes over, and it can get into anything, anywhere. And I think we don't pay enough attention. We didn't pay attention to the Terminator, so maybe we'll pay attention to this. It is really a prescient warning, considering what is going on today, going back to the actors and the writer's strike, and about our imitating life and how machines, are taking over. You hear about these Fortune 500 companies that are hiring companies to put robots in to clean up rather than paying for a janitorial or a cleaning staff. You hear about these carts that at grocery stores that seem cool, where you put your stuff in the cart and it adds it up and you can just pay from the cart, the self checkout line. So we think of AI as being something, but it's everywhere, whether it's coming from these chat box AI things that are writing papers. And the more you program and you plug into them, the more it becomes familiar with your writing style. The thing with, they want that to take the place of writers, and they want actors or writers to come in and punch up um, scripts and things that have been written by these AI. They want to scan actors' bodies, and this was an actual thing that they suggested. They would scan. You're a day actor. You have a day job, so you're coming in, and I would have to pay you a SAG minimum. So say I needed you in the background for 10 days, and the minimum per day would be $1,000. The first day you come in, I give you your $1,000. I scan your body, and then I use you. I use that scan to put you in the background, and I only pay you that $1,000. Well, the next time I have a movie, guess what? I don't even call you. I just go get your scan. And I put that in, and you get no more money for that. So that is kind of like the problem. And seeing all of that with this entity, I was with a friend. I was just like, yeah, this is some bullshit. Like, so it was a great movie, but also when you think about the reality of what's out there and what people are trying to do, it was also like a horror movie in a sense to me. So but I really did enjoy it. So that just kind of, it offers just this warning. Like, I'm like, people need to pay attention, because art and life, they really do have a way of imitating each other. So I just from that, just from the subject matter, I thought, wow, it really, really hit home. But and Tom Cruise, I think he is the consummate movie star. Um, he is one of those few actors that can make you forget about the problematic shit in the real world. Like, watching a movie, you forget about the Scientology and all the Scientologist bullshit, and he just embodies that role. And then when you hear him in interviews talking about cinema and the history of cinema and his passion for filmmaking, it just becomes so, you just become so enthralled in that. Like, you really get his sense that he loves his job, he loves doing what he does. And it makes me want to see the director's cut of this movie. And also, when it comes out, this is one of those few movies that I would probably go and actually listen to, like, see all the behind the scenes stuff, and watch. If there was a version where you could watch, I don't know if they still do it anymore. With I would love to watch a version with him and the director just talking and breaking down the scenes. Like, that's just how interesting I thought that it was, and I thought he did a good job. He's still believable as Ethan Hunt, although he says he wouldn't mind playing the character till he's like 80 years old, like Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones. Are you all for that? Mission Impossible 20?
No.
You won't want to see Tom Cruise throwing
I
his
don't even want to
movie up.
see Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones because I haven't seen that one yet.
It wasn't bad. But yeah, so do you think he's still believable as Ethan Hunt?
Like right now, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he look, he does a great job of being an action star for this franchise that has been created around him. He does a fantastic job of being Ethan Hunt. And I'm like, if he wants to go up until Mission Impossible 20, go for it. Like, you do you. But I'm gonna have the same mindset that I have about Harrison Ford. At some point, you need to hang it up because you just ain't got it the same way.
Yeah. Well, and that was one of the things Harrison Ford said about that movie is, he did not want them to use a lot of stunt doubles or whatever, because he's like, I'm 80 years old and I'm playing Indiana Jones as an 80-year-old. So it was just interesting. But yeah. Um, okay, so I love what did you think about the plot of the movie? Let's start there.
I thought it was really, really interesting. I think that it's been done a lot, so it's not the first movie to have this idea. Of course, you mentioned the Terminator, and I'm of the same mindset. Like, it's not the first time to have an entity uh, start to think on its own, and something that we create to control and ends up fully controlling society on its own. Because if you put all of your knowledge and intelligence into an innate object, soon enough it will evolve into being smarter than you. That's how technology works. And so I still, um, it kept me interested in how it came about. I think it was more like the human side of it. So, like, while I was really interested in the AI aspects of it, like I said, it's been done before. So it was, how do humans respond to the AI? How do humans respond to the AI is where you really get the story and the drama and the action of it all.
Yeah. I from that aspect, it was like, and they did it in true human corporate political, that response of, we created this thing and now it's out of control, but now we found a way that we can control it, so that's what we want to do. And it was from the very beginning, like, once, because Kittredge, when I saw him, I'm like, should that motherfucker be dead? Like, shouldn't he have already died? Like, and it kind of goes like the CIA being that double-sided boogeyman. Sometimes they do the right thing, sometimes they do the wrong thing. So it's always, they walk that gray line. And I'm like, but he's crossed all the way over to the dark side so many times. And so once he figures out, like, once Ethan knows what he has to do, he knows that he's going to have to infiltrate the CIA, or that meeting, that NSA meeting, whatever it was, that security meeting, in order to get the truth of what he's dealing with. And he figures out what it is he's dealing with. It's like he makes up his mind. He has no plan. There's no way in hell he's going to give them back that key once he finds it. It was like he knew there's just no way. And I really love that, like, and you see the different sides of it. Well, we think we can control it, and then that new agent, he comes in and he's like, no one should have that much power. So it's like, even though his objective is to capture Ethan, he starts questioning, like, well, maybe he's the one that's on the right side of this, because again, no one should have that much power, and should we just be blindly following orders like this? So I thought that was um, an interesting idea of, you know control it versus destroy it. What side would you fall on? Hello.
I'm thinking.
Oh. I need thinking
Okay.
music. When you start doing that, I have to
Sorry.
start doing the popcorn pop 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 pop. Okay.
So I'm gonna give a very like I want okay. So as a human who understands how it ultimately, watching these movies and seeing how ultimately the entity always turns out to be evil, right? Because it ultimately takes over the world, and then we're left as the minority. Um, but as humans in this world, uh, we have created so much AI, and we enjoy it until we don't. And so while I would love to automatically say, you would destroy it, right? Like that's the automatic response. Of course, we're going to destroy it, right? Because you see how evil it can be. But at the same time, we also enjoy the conveniences of having AI control a lot of things in our life, or um, reimagine certain things of our life that humans used to do. And so while I would say I would want to destroy it, at the same time, I'm going to look and be like, I can fully understand why people would want to control it. Now, of course, you would never be able to control an entity that ultimately, based on history, is going to become smarter than you and take over. But I can understand the mindset of, all we need is that one thing and we're going to automatically control it, because AI starts off really small. In the movie, it's this huge thing, but it always starts off really, really small. And we enjoy the small stuff and never see when the small stuff turn into large stuff. And then all of a sudden we want to complain about how AI is destroying the industry. But it wasn't destroying it when it was convenient for us and when we were enjoying the perks. If that makes sense.
It does. I'm not saying all AI is bad. I understand that the whole concept that, because you can go back to artificial intelligence, the first computer, and all of that. So I'm not saying get rid of all AI, but this particular entity, yes. This particular version that they have, this thing that they meant that they set in to stealthily infiltrate weapon systems in different countries and take over their systems, the thing that is like in the banking systems. And like I said, art imitates life, life imitates art. So somewhere, someone in some think tank somewhere, they're working on this if it's not already, you know. So I, as a person who likes my smartphone, who likes some of the conveniences, I'm also a person who's weary of it. Like I don't, unless I'm just in a big hurry, I don't go to the automated check myself out at the grocery store. Or unless there's nothing open, if I'm like at Walmart first thing in the morning because I have to get something. I'm not for uh, displacing people from their jobs. There's a purpose for it in certain things like CGI. AI in movies has been around for a long time. CGI. It has a place for it. There's a certain place for it, but to take it to now take that concept and use it to replace actors and writers, no, you know. So it's like you have to find a balance for it.
But
Um,
there's no balance though. See, that's the thing that I'm saying is there is no balance. Like we can say that we like there's a line. And so people will be like, well, there's a line, right? But there is line, because once you start enjoying the smallest thing of convenience, right? So we'll say something as in the smartphone or even the computer. Let's even go way back. On the computer, the first type of AI, that is a small thing that has created that has led to where you can now scan a person and you don't even need them to act for you anymore. And we were fine when it was just a computer. We're fine when it's just a smartphone. Okay, we're fine when it's just, oh, well, I'm going to enjoy this streaming service, but it's never, the line will always be crossed. Like, and
no,
that's what we have to understand. Like, the line will always be crossed. There has never been a time in history where the line was not crossed and people did not get destroyed because that line will always be crossed. There's
well,
no
here's
there's no middle ground. There's no middle
there
ground
is
when it comes
there
to
is a middle
technology.
there is a middle ground when it comes to technology. First, I mean, I can't believe that. That's just like saying the car, the car is technology. We don't have to walk or ride our bikes anywhere. So, I mean, there is a middle ground. It's just making sure that you know, that people don't abuse technology. I mean, and I get what you're saying. It's a catch 22. It really is. And sometimes we don't pay attention to these things until it's too late, and part of it is, the people are saying, oh, trust us, when we're seeing how this can go, or trust me when I scan. And it's not just for them, it's like for the rest of us too, people being able to clone your voice, people being able to make these deep fakes on you and pictures of you and put them on the internet and all that kind of stuff. So it's like you have to be really careful about what you put out there, just like on social media and pictures and selfies. And, now it's getting to the point where you got to start reading those accept terms of acceptance and agreement when you sign up for these apps and shit like that. So, um, anyway, back to the movie, the plot, the other thing, um, the characters. I love Hayley Atwell as an actress. I hated her character, Grace. Grace got on my nerves. The whole mistrusting throughout the whole 2.5 hours of the movie, it was too much for her to be so smart. She was like really fucking stupid, and she was like a child who kept playing this game, and she didn't realize it wasn't a game. I'm like, okay, the dead dude at the airport, that didn't tell you it wasn't a game, you know. And I'm sure in her line of work as a high class thief, that's not the first time she's encountered death. So I gave her that one. Okay. But then when you get jailed in Italy, and everyone and their mother is following you from all these different agencies, the Italian police, you have these spy agencies, the people who are trying to kill you on your ass, that still doesn't compute. A person died because of you and your stupidity, and it still doesn't compute. And I'm just like, God, get a clue. Like, get a fucking clue. At one point, me and my friend just looked and said, this bitch has got to die. Like, we were like, Ethan, let her die. Like, throw her ass off the train. She's got to go. Did you like Grace, the Grace
I
character?
didn't, and I agree with you on, because she frustrated me a lot, because you could clearly tell that you had one person that wanted to kill you and one person that wanted to protect you, and she kept thinking like, I can protect myself. Ma'am, like you said, did you not see the dead person in the airport? Ma'am, did you not see that they were willing to let you die? Ma'am, did you not feel when they put the handcuffs on you? Like, I just kept like, you're stupid. Like, are you serious? And then even when she took the knife and she goes and she's actually thinking, honestly, now you're a thief, okay? You're a thief, and I can clearly tell that you are not a fighter. And you telling me that you're gonna get into a knife fight with this dude on the bridge that you actually think you can win? I was like, I thought that was stupid. And then to think that Ilsa had to come and save you and die to save you for what? You mean to tell me an actual partner of Ethan Hunt who was actually worth it and who could actually help him has to die to save your stupid behind? I'm with you. He should have let her go. I was so mad when Ilsa had to die to save her, and still, she didn't even really learn then.
Mm-mm. It was still, and I'm just like, and at the end, the dumbest mistake, bitch, take the money. You're transferring it into your own crypto wallet. They can't trace it. Take the money.
Like, I didn't understand. Yeah, I didn't get that either. I say, oh, because I feel like it's gonna be bad, ma'am. You can take the money. You are a thief. There's no such thing as an honest thief. I'm sorry. You are
Thank
a
you.
thief.
Look,
Where you trying to be honest for all of a sudden?
she could have took the money, still kept the key, been done with it. That's just me.
Yeah.
You do what you do, but and so I was like, okay, like I said, I was willing to give her the airport because I'm sure in her line of work, as the type, she wasn't just some petty any street thief, you know. I'm sure this is not the first time she's seen a dead body in the midst of doing a job. So I was willing to give her the airport. Everything else that happened after that, I thought her naivety, especially given the stakes and the gravity of the situation, I thought it lasted way too long.
I miss
Um,
Paula Patton after seeing this. I said, bring back Paula Patton. Because she was
yeah,
a better, she's a better character than this one. Bring back oh my god, what's her name? The black
his
woman. The black woman.
was
She was in, like, oh my gosh. Oh, I forgot. It's the one before he met his wife. Dang it, I forgot her name.
Wasn't that Paula Patton?
Tandy Newton.
Oh, Sandy. Yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
Sandy
bring
Newton.
bring her back, because I bet you she would be even smarter than this one.
Yeah, then that sounds like for you to be such a worldly street class, street smart, book smart thief. I get the trust issues, but like you said, it's obvious. Decide, you know, the one who's going to save your life versus the one who's trying to kill you. The one who's been honest with you from pretty much the beginning to the one who, and it's like even though you realize, and then when Esai's character Gabriel's in there telling you one of you is going to die tonight, and it's like you still don't realize the gravity of what's going on here. It's like she was a kid trying to pretend in an adult world. And I'm like, the stakes are too high for you to still be doing this bullshit. When is it going to click? And even after Ilsa died, it still didn't click. I'm like, I was just like, damn. But yeah, um, I love Esai Morales. I'm a huge, huge Esai Morales fan. I loved his character. As the true believer, there were moments where you didn't really know um, if Gabriel, like there, I forgot that scene where he's like, "Are you a true believer?" And you're thinking, okay, maybe he's not. And then when he stabs Paris, and he says, "You were going to betray us." And it's like, well, do you think the reason she ultimately betrayed you is because you killed her? Like, if you hadn't tried to kill her, she wouldn't have betrayed you. So that was just that what came first, the chicken or the egg type of scenario for me. But I thought he was really good. And he wasn't like cartoonish over the top with it. And it kind of made me want to get a little bit more into the backstory of what happened between him and Ethan. There was a woman who was involved, but I was just like, yeah, but I loved him in this role. I just love Esai Morales in general. And again, I think he's aging like fine wine, just like Clooney. And yeah. So, did you like the character of Gabriel?
No, I thought it was an unemotional blob. Like it I know he can act. I've seen him in other things that shows me that he can act. But if I had never seen him in anything else and I just saw him in this, and like it didn't resonate with me. Let me just say that. It didn't resonate with me at all. I There were certain things in the movie that just didn't click for me. And that's what I meant by like there was like not edge of my seat kind of thing. There were certain things that didn't click for me. Now, if you just want to enjoy an action flick and go for it, because I think that this one is a really, really good one. But it just didn't click for me. And I think his character, his relationship with the entity, just did not click with me. It didn't get me invested. Like I'm invested in figuring out like who is this woman and how is she connected to Ethan Hunt. Then I'm invested in the who is he to Ethan Hunt kind of thing. And so I was just like, oh, he's a villain. That's it. Like there was no like, oh, okay, like okay, you got me. Like I'm here for it. Like you are good. He wasn't a good villain. He's not a Bond villain, if that makes any sense. Like he doesn't get me. Like Bond villains are like the ultimates, and he wasn't a Bond villain. So no.
No, I wasn't looking for him to be a Bond villain. I thought like
Well, that was just that I came up
the
with, but
the
it's still
yeah.
no connection that he had.
I was thinking like the coldness I thought was really I thought it was well done, especially considering that he was taking orders from a computer, from an AI, from an entity. And I like I said, I think seeing how detached and how unemotional he is about everything, I think it plays back to the deeper story of what happened all those years ago with him and Ethan. I'm getting the sense maybe that they were partners. Like I would love to see more of that backstory too, because I know the woman plays into that. And this is the case, or this is the thing that landed Ethan in jail, where he actually becomes an IMF agent. Like they come to him when he was in jail. So whatever happened between him and Gabriel and this woman that had him arrested is the next thing that leads him to becoming an IMF agent, because that's what Kittredge says. They get him out of jail and give him the choice. should he accept it? So I think his lack of emotion kind of plays in, and it fits nicely with him being um, it falls in line with him being the true believer, just like really cold and calculated. And I think you would have to have um, that kind of sentiment or lack of sentiment to be the type of villain he was, to work with the person, to work with the thing that he was working with. And I think also like that human, like there was no room for that human connection or that human emotion, because it kind of goes back to what he did to Paris. He says, you would betray us because he saved your life. So that he and the machine are calculating that now, because spared Paris's life in that alley, that she would have some sort of sentimentality towards that would prevent her from doing her job ultimately, and that would lead to the betrayal. But I'm like, and it kind of, and that scene, like I said, it was a great twist to me. It was really neat the way it happened. It was like the chicken or the egg. You knew she was going to betray you, but the fact that she betrays you, is it because you tried to kill her and left her for dead? Like she didn't succeed. Like that's where the betrayal comes from. So, and you foreseeing it, you also facilitated it, which I thought was just really, really interesting. So yeah, I totally, I bought him as his villain. I thought just it was just that right amount of cold, calculated charm, that was just really cool. So but I agree with you. I would love to see how he and the entity hooked up, and maybe that's one of the things that we'll see um, in part two. Is there something that you really liked? Like, is there a particular scene or stunt or something that you liked in the movie?
Um, I liked the airport scene. I thought was really, really good. I like the bond that he has with Benji and, oh my God, what's Big Rams?
Luther?
Luther. I like the bond, and Ilsa before she dies. I like the bond that he has with his group. I think that's really good. Like when they say like you're going to have to make a choice and you're not going, you shouldn't have to think about us. I love that. On he was just like, no, like it's all or nothing. Like I'm not gonna give y'all up and have y'all die just to like win against this AI. So I like that. I like majority of the scenes. And it just was not edge of your seat action, but it was a typical Mission Impossible movie. Like there's no disappointment in it, did exactly what a Mission Impossible movie is supposed to do. And so I'm not surprised about the movie in any way.
Yeah. I love the bond with his team. I hate that Ilsa had to die. I kind of hope. Well, that'll be something I'll talk about in a second, or I'll ask in a second. But I'm with you. I love the big stunt scenes, and part of the reason why I hope that we get a director's cut, or at least on a digital or whatever part, that where you get the extras, that there's just a conversation talking about what went into making this movie. Because just the more you talk about it, like the very first scene that they filmed was the scene where of him getting the motorcycle and crashing into the train, was that cliff jumping scene. And Tom Cruise wanted that to be the first scene, because he's like, if I die, then you know how to proceed, and it won't fuck it up if I don't make it and I die in the middle of the movie. And I'm like, that's so morbid, but it was like, okay, you know. Um, and then so I did love that scene, and even though we kind of got glimpses of it, it was like really, really good. And then the scene on the train, they built that train specifically for that, to destroy it. And so they were saying that they only had one take and one shot to get it right. And so I was just like, and knowing that going in, it just kind of made it even more edge of your seat for me. And so I turned to my friend, I said, damn, I see why they only had one shot, because they were saying there weren't just a bunch of trains around that you could go and try to destroy or blow up over and over till you got it right. So they built that specific train. They built that train specifically for that. And I was just like, wow. So just everything that went into making a movie to me is also interesting, like the behind the scenes. And I don't really, as much as I love movies and I love the magic behind making movies and the whole everything that goes into it, it's not often that I see a movie that makes me want to go back and watch the director's cut or watch a behind the scenes or everything like that. So, but I really do. And then just hearing him talk about like how he had his stunt doubles watch Fred and Ginger movies so that they could get the movements right and they would know what he's trying to do and what he wants to portray, and knowing that he did a lot of the more dangerous stunts himself. I'm just like, yeah. So like I say, I'm in awe of his filmmaking abilities and talents. And I just thought that, yeah, this was really well done, and I was fully expecting to go into it like, okay, it's another Mission Impossible. There's going to be some cool stuff, but I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. Spoiler alert in the name: Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part One. What are some things you're hoping to see in Part Two?
I'll be honest and say I haven't thought about it. I said it in the beginning. I'm only gonna go see it because it's a Mission Impossible movie. I have no expectations about what part two is gonna be. I just know that part two is gonna finish up where part one ended, and I just want to see how the storyline ends. But I really don't have any expectations because once again, it is a franchise that I go see because I've been watching the franchise since the beginning.
Oh wow. I I hope that gosh, I want to say, what was his name? Is it Day Guy? The guy who was the new agent, the one who was questioning whether or not Ethan and his team were on the right path. It's or were if they weren't really the good guys, especially after realizing what they were up to. It's like, ooh, I want to see him join the team. I want to see Grace be less annoying. Now that I think she's going to be fully entrenched in the team. I want a little bit more background uh, about the history between Gabriel and Ethan, and just I expect it to continue, like you say, with where part one left off. I think there will be more action. I think, and some of it was a little subdued to me, and I think, and I kept saying, I know, and I guess I was like, they're holding back some because we do know there's a part two coming. So this served, and going into that, I think it helped where you knew that this was just like the introduction, and that there was definitely going to be a to be continued part. So I think maybe even in for a little bit more of a wilder ride with part two. I really can't wait to see it, but I just seeing everything and how it came together, you kind of it made me understand those rants a little bit more that we heard about from the set back in 2020, 2021, where he was mad because they were shutting down because they weren't following COVID protocols and stuff like that. So but yeah. Okay, so ultimately, how are you rating this puppy?
I'm gonna give Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part One 3 popcorns. Um, it was good. It's almost 3 hours, y'all, and I will say that the action doesn't make it seem like it's 3 hours, like because it's continuous movement. There's not necessarily slow parts. It didn't necessarily resonate with me. That's why I keep saying that. Of course, I'm gonna go see part two, but I'm gonna see part two because Mission Impossible is a franchise that I have just put on my list of franchise that I will go see no matter how good or bad the movie is. I will definitely go see it. And so 3 popcorns is what it gets. What about you, Eddie?
I'm giving it 4.5 popcorns. I would definitely recommend it. Like you said, it does. It is. I didn't realize. I read somewhere that it was the longest installment in the franchise, but I didn't realize it was damn near 3 hours until it was over. And I'm like, damn, time, that's late. But time, it's a movie where it doesn't seem like it's 3 hours. Time goes by really fast. If only, I hope I can say the same thing about Oppenheimer. But anyway, so I would definitely watch it again. It's definitely going in the collection, not just because all the others are in the collection, but it should be. It's definitely one that I would go see in the theater. Um, And yeah, kudos to Cruz for his insistence in not giving it to streaming, and for the last 2 summers making sure that we had these great action popcorn movies to watch. Top Gun 2 and Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. And if you have a chance, the opportunity to check it out while it's in the theater, I would recommend that you do that. And yeah, I guess that's it. You have anything else you want to say? All right. Well, that does it for this week's episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. Please be sure to like, listen, and follow, comment wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. You can also keep up to date on the latest in entertainment and pop culture news, as well as other amazing kernels of pop culture goodness. See what I did there? Of course, at the popcornwinddown.com. That's it. That's the plug. Pop, 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 pop,
Pop,
pop.
pop, pop, pop.
And thank you as always. And be sure to join us next week where we go pink with Barbie. I'm so excited. I'm actually surprised you wanted to see Barbie because it was like,
Don't tell people that. Don't tell people that. You know the only reason this is on the list is because of you.
I know, that's what I was gonna say. I'm surprised. So that that you would want to go see it. So I
Because you always
cannot
do my stuff, so every once in a while I gotta do something that you talked about, but I shut down because I shut it down when we first talked about it. I was like, I ain't gonna go see that movie. I remember shutting it down when you brought it up, and I was like, I guess we can go see Barbie. I was like, so we'll see how it
obviously
goes.
I'm the more flexible of the two. I'll go see anything and just be like, yeah, okay, yeah. But I'm excited. I cannot wait. Energy, everyone. I don't know what it's going to be. I know it's going to be outrageous. I know it's going to be fun. I'm going to wear pink. Are you going to do the Barbie
No.
Oppenheimer double feature?
Oh, I'm not going to see Oppenheimer.
Oh,
That movie looks
okay.
boring as hell.
I'm doing the.
I don't know how people like one of my friends asked me, "Oh, I want to go see Oppenheimer. Can you come see it with me?" And I was trying to figure out like how to tell her, "Hell no, that movie looks boring as hell. I'm not even gonna watch it when it comes on streaming." Like, but so I gotta figure out how to tell her without like talking down on her taste.
I am doing the double feature, like the true double feature. And it took me a while. I had to make movie reservations several times before I figured out how to do it. But so I'm taking Issa Rae's advice, and I think Tom Cruise's advice too. I'm seeing Oppenheimer first. So Oppenheimer's the first movie. It starts at such and such, and it's like 3 hours long.
And
So
then
you
you're
have
gonna
to
go eat.
no, and
Oh.
then so I'm gonna give it some time. So it's going to be 3 hours long, and as soon as Oppenheimer ends, about the time Oppenheimer's ending, Barbie's going to be starting.
Oh, okay.
So I have my double feature, and I'm doing Oppenheimer first because it looks, heavier, and then Barbie's going to be my palette cleanser, and I'm
Mm.
geeking out, and I'm doing the 70 millimeter. So I'm seeing it in like 70 millimeter film. So I'm excited. And she's rolling her eyes like, how the hell did I
I'm gonna be honest. I so am. I'm rolling my eyes. You know when somebody like nods their head like mm-hmm, because you don't want to like be negative. I'm telling you, Eddie. I'm sitting here with that whole response like, don't be negative. Like I'm not nodding my head the whole time you was talking. I was nodding my head like
she has that roll her eyes, that dead glaze, like I don't give a fuck. And she's just like, but this is one of her moments where she's geeking out, and yeah.
and you know what? I can fully like because even though I think I go to the movies more than you, and but at the same time, like you are more of a movie lover because the whole production of it, like you get fully involved in that. And so like you can see the amazingness of what that movie is going to be because of your different perspective when it comes to looking at movies. And I don't have that, right? And so like I can fully understand you wanting to go see Oppenheimer and then go see Barbie. Like I fully get that. I understand. Like I'm like, that's Eddie. I fully understand that. But at the same time, I was just like, that movie is
Yeah. So,
long and looks boring as hell. But I understand why you want to go see it though. Because
yeah.
it looks
So,
like it's gonna be Oscar worthy though. I will say that. It looks like the acting is gonna be phenomenal.
so I gotta go. I gotta make sure my, my movie bag is all packed and ready to go. If you know, you know.
If you
Shout
know, you
out.
know.
If you know, you know. But yeah, all right. So I cannot wait till next week till we talk about Barbie, not Oppenheimer,
Yay.
because yay. All right. So until next time, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Peace.